Okay guys, we're fixing to take this ceiling light down. As you can see, it is hanging. Let me show you. When you come into our kitchen area, we have a table here. If you go up, I have the table pushed out of the way. It's supposed to sit over more in that area, but we needed the room for a freezer. So this light is at an angle out in the floor where we walk, and Danny's tall and he's always wanted it out of here, and he wanted a ceiling fan. So he's fixing to install a ceiling fan.
Hey guys, we're here in Deep South Homestead's kitchen. We've got this light fixture here that's been here since the day I built the house. It hung over the breakfast table here. It was something that my former wife that passed away wanted. And it's just not practical for me and Wanda. I mean, Wanda and I are now about being more sustainable, and we're wanting to put a ceiling fan here in the kitchen instead, something that moves some airflow around, because we're doing so much canning in the house that that we need something to keep some air flowing in here. So we're going to take this light down and we're going to replace it with a ceiling fan, so that we can see if we can't make it just a little bit more efficient here in our kitchen. And we're just going to show you all the journey of taking it down, because we're not going to need this anymore, and there's nothing really wrong with it. It's still practically a new light, because my house is not very old, and matter of fact, we probably will put it up for sale if anyone ever wanted it, because we have no need for it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's a very beautiful light fixture. So we're about to begin that journey. The first thing we're going to do is try to get some of this weight off of it. I got to try to remember all about how it went together. I'll take this globe off of here. That's where a lot of the weight's at, right there. And just to, let me screw that back up in there, because I think that's screwed out a little bit, just so I'd run the risk of busting a light bulb. I want to show y'all something. Well, one of the first things you want to do when you go to working on a electrical part in a house is to kill the breaker. But I want to show you a test here. See, my house, I wired it because I'm an electrician. My house is wired what's called cold. It's not wired hot. My house, unless that switch is turned on, there's no electricity up here, and I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a show of what I'm talking about. Okay guys, I'm going to show y'all, this is a simple little AC tester that you can pick up at a hardware store. And my light switch is turned on, so this is hot, so I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here. You see how that light comes on right there? That means this light fixture is hot. And you could get electrocuted with it like that. Now I've turned the electricity off, and I'll show you the difference. I've turned the light switch off. Now the light switch being off, I have no electricity in this right now because it's wired cold. So therefore, me personally, I don't have to go throw the breaker in the box because I don't have anything here to be concerned about. There's no electricity here. Nothing hot. So, but to be on the safe side, I would always recommend someone who's not an electrician to go and turn the light on and go to the breaker box and turn the switch, throw the breaker until you see the light go off, then you know you're safe. So that's just something I was going to bring out to you here. But now we're going to start disassembling this, and this is really a simple disassembly. It's got these hooks on it. There's these rods. They just hook, that's all they do. And then get here, this rod right here, you just pick it up and it just unhooks from it. And it unhooks off of the top up there. They just hook, that's all. Now the last one right here has an electrical wire running through it, and that's what feeds from the box up yonder down through. You can see right here the wire comes out. That's what feeds this light fixture with electricity. So we're going to leave that one on to hold the light fixture with. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is there's two little bolts up here that goes up into a junction box up in the attic. So we're going to undo them. And that comes loose, and then you have the wiring. I'm going to pull it down. And there is your wiring exposed for the light. Get it pulled apart here where maybe you can see it just a little bit better. There you go. We got the ground, the neutral, and the hot. If you'll notice on this one, it has a black electrical tape. That's usually a code requirement in some areas. It is here that once you put the wire nuts on, you have to put black tape on it. So what we want to do, the first thing we want to do is we want to get rid of our grounds. We don't want to fool with the hot first. We want to fool with the ground first. We want to take the ground wire off. And what I do is I usually put the wire nut back on it. Then we want to get rid of the tape. We'll get the tape off of the neutral side. Now that we got the tape off, we're going to unscrew the neutral side. And we're going to put the wire nut back on it, so that way all we have left hooked up is the hot wire here. And what I recommend doing is moving anything that there's a potential of you touching that's grounded away from the hot wire, even though the electricity's turned off. It's just a safety precaution. I used to tell all the guys when they were working with me and we were working together, it's just unscrew this, put that back on it so it doesn't touch anything. And now the light is completely down. Okay, the last thing we want to do here is we want to take the mounting bracket out of the junction box in the ceiling, which is a relatively simple process. There's 2 screws to take out. Okay guys, I've unboxed my ceiling fan. I've made sure that all the parts are there that they said supposed to be there. We've you know, when you get ceiling fans, a lot of them you get 2 different choices. You get the back of a blade and the other side of the blade. We've chosen the lighter side because our kitchen is a lighter. We don't really like dark in the kitchen, so we've chosen that side. And what I've done is I've turned the styrofoam top that was in here. I always turn that into my table because it has little component places here that you can empty your screws out, and it makes for easy access. This is bright white. It makes easy visibility. That way there's not really the risk of losing anything when you open them up in it. Now the first thing we're going to do is we have these arms here. These go on the ceiling fan blades. Now what I always do, a lot of people try to put up everything and try to put it together up on the ceiling. I do all this down where I'm at here before I ever get up to the ceiling, so that it makes it just a lot simpler to install this stuff. I would advise for someone who has never installed a ceiling fan before to get your instructions out, read them and understand them first, so that you know what goes where and when it goes there. Because I've installed hundreds of these things, whether it be Harbor Breeze or Mainstay or whichever one, Hunter, I usually don't even have to have the instructions because they're all basically the same. So I'm going to start off by taking these, which are your arms for your fan, and whichever side that you want to be seen when you look up at the ceiling fan, this arm goes on that side. That'll go up like this, like you have it, it'll turn up under the ceiling fan, and that's the side you'll be looking at. So we're going to reach down here in our box. It's going to require a screw and a rubber washer. There's 3 of them that go in each one of these arms. And in the back of the fan here, you'll see the holes. We're going to stick them in there. And you really don't want to tighten them down right away. And I use a hand screwdriver for this. And once I got them all in, I tighten them down. I don't like to use a drill motor on this part because it'd be real easy with a drill motor to strip these out. If you turn it by hand, you can kind of tell about the tightness of it. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of these on there, and then we'll show you the next phase. Okay, the first thing we're going to install is our bracket here that we actually hang the ceiling fan off of. And I'm installing a lot longer screws than what it requires or what came with it. I just like the extra added stability of having more threads on something. Don't run it all the way down. Just snug it up just a little. Don't even get it good and tight, because you're going to need to adjust it to make sure that you got about the same amount showing on each side, and that's where we're at. Make sure you get it good and snug. Okay, you got it now? Let's make sure. Yeah, that's a good and snug fit right there. Now I'm going to pull my wires down, get them pulled out and get them straightened up. Next thing we're going to do is hang our ceiling fan motor. They come with these screws in them. You want to make sure you take that screw out. This is kind of a T-shape here. This is what's going to hold your ceiling fan up so that you can work on it to get the wiring done. This thing goes and it turns kind of sideways, comes around, and it locks in, and then you can let go of it. The green one is your ground wire. White is common or also a neutral wire. The black wire is the heat or the electricity coming to the ceiling fan, which operates the ceiling fan motor. That will always go to your hot wire. The blue will go to the hot wire also, but it's made for a separate light switch. The blue runs the light part of the ceiling fan. But being we only have the one black wire coming into this one, and we don't have two black wires with two switches, we're going to hook the blue and the black to the black up here. We'll hook the white to the white, and this green will go to the copper ground. Okay, the last wire I'm going to hook up is a white wire, which is a common neutral wire. I always save my ground for last. That way there's less of a risk of getting shocked. Got that on. And keeping with code here, we're going to tape it. These are kind of some tight quarters to work in. And when you tape something, make sure you tape the wire nut to the wire, because that's what it's all about. Electricity, every time you throw that switch on, these wires move just a little bit. And if that nut's not taped to that wire, the nut can actually back off and come loose from the wire. Now that I have all these wires here, what I like to do is I like to fold them back up and put them back up in the box. So I don't have so much down below down here. Kind of help hold them. I know it's a little bit difficult to see right this minute, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out these two screws right here. We're going to turn right around. We're going to swing this up. Get it held on to here where I can hold on to it. We're going to put that one back. Now don't tighten it all the way just yet. Okay, that one's tight. Good and tight. The one we took out just a minute ago from this other side, we're going to put back in it. Okay, that's got our ceiling fan mounted solid now. Now, there's some screws here, one there. Let me see if I can turn my drill motor light on where you can see it. There's a screw here, a screw here, and there's two identical ones on the other side. We're going to, two of them come completely out, two of them do not. Okay, on some ceiling fans you take two out on one side and leave the other two in. This particular ceiling fan, you take one out on one side and one out on the other side, and you loosen this screw up. So it's made so that this here slides up over that screw, and you can turn it. And it actually, when you turn it, it locks it in place. There we go. Alright, run your drill motor very slow till you get it started. Okay, we're going to tighten them down now. I'm going to get my screw in there. Got it. You don't want to over tighten these because these actually have no pressure on them whatsoever. So we got that done. Next thing we're going to do is up inside this right here. There's a whole pile of screws. We're going to take those screws out and we're going to lay them to the side. Okay guys, we're here to put our blade on now. They send these little cardboard shims that go underneath this. This cuts down on any kind of vibration, rattling, and plus I've learned that you can stick your screws in them and it helps to hold the screw in place, because if there's one thing that's aggravating on a ceiling fan, that's what it is. It's always been a fault with a ceiling fan. See that holds them in place? It fixes it where you can turn them up. And you want to always do this with a screwdriver to start with. Get your blades all started and just snug them. Don't tighten them yet till you get both sides snugged down. And once you get it snugged down, go ahead and tighten it. What I like to do, I did this one on this side, I like to move around and do the one on the opposite side. Okay, we're putting our last blade on. Okay. Now before we go any further, we're going to check and see if it works. Light switch on. Oh yeah. Okay, we're going to, at this time, we're going to install the chains. Locks in, and there you have it. You have the two chains, one for the fan, one for the light. Next thing we're going to do is install the light bulb. This uses a small socket A19. We have that in.
Check.
Let's check the bulb and make sure it works before we put the globe on. We have power. A lot of time in the ceiling fan kits, if you don't want a light kit on it, they send this piece here that's actually made to go on here when the bulb's not there. This covers that up if you don't want a light kit on it. But in our situation, we want a light kit on it because it's right over our little breakfast table. So we're going to just leave that off. Next thing you want to do is unscrew these screws. There's 3 of them on the outside of it. You want to unscrew them, not all the way out. Okay, now on your globe is a rubber band. That rubber band is for them screws to go against so you don't break the glass when you put it on. And you want to tighten them down evenly. You don't want to just run one all the way down. You want to run them about halfway in from side to side till you feel them touch the rubber band. Equal amounts on all 3. And do not over tighten. When you feel them touching the rubber band, that should be your cue to stop so you don't over tighten it. Okay, well let's see how she works. Alright, switch is on. Lights on. Ceiling fans on, high. That should give us a nice breeze here in the kitchen over the breakfast table. And we still have plenty of light.